Good evening and welcome to the Indian Express. My name is Premankur Biswas and I'm here live from the historic Gaiety Theatre from Shimla. We are here to cover elections in Himachal Pradesh, and with me is Sumit Raj, a prominent figure in Shimla. He runs the organization Shimla Walks and is also an important historian of the city. Sumit, welcome to the Indian Express.
Thank you very much.
Sumit, if you could start by telling me about the historic significance of this place.
Well, we are sitting at Gaiety Theatre, which is one of the most important buildings of colonial era from the point of view of history. And this Gaiety Theatre is one of the few Gaiety theatres left in the world now. Because during the Raj, wherever the British went, they built Gaiety theatres basically for the aristocrats and the viceroys. And those were the days when they didn't have recorded music or any other mode of entertainment. So theatre was the only way. So this was built in 1887, and the opening play was written by a very famous English writer, Rudyard Kipling.
Okay.
Yeah, and theatre is still going on with its old traditions. It is very well looked after by the Department of Language, Art and Culture. And still we have performances here. The architecture, you can see, it is still, they are maintaining it, the Victorian architecture. And we have plays here, we have poetic symposiums, we have dance programs, and many festivals related to theatre. So Gaiety Theatre is one of the very important buildings of Shimla.
Okay, Sumitji, if you could tell me about, the efforts that are being taken to preserve the history of Shimla by the state government, by the central government. Do you think enough is being done?
Yes, government is doing its work very professionally. I would say certain area, if we talk about Shimla only, so a certain area has been declared as heritage zone, and they have listed buildings. Like old buildings, the owners cannot change the face of the facade or the outer face or even inside. If they have to make any changes in the building, they have to take permission. And taking permission is quite difficult because they have to follow the old norms and maintain the heritage. And many buildings in the last couple of years have been very well maintained, very well renovated by the government. This is the best example, of course, Gaiety Theatre, where we are sitting. It was closed for nearly 6 years, from 2004 to 2010. And when they reopened it, everybody was stunned to see the way they renovated and the actual face of the Gothic style of architecture came up. And apart from that, they have renovated the building of the corporation, municipal corporation, which is next to Gaiety Theatre. Then Gorton Castle, which got burnt. Bantony Castle is being renovated. Unfortunately, many buildings we have lost in fire. They were razed to ground. So they cannot be, renovated because nothing is left out of that. So if government wants, they can build them, rebuild them. So for example, military hospital, or originally it was called Walker's Hospital. That was a beautiful building, but what they have built now is total concrete.
So, is there awareness? Is there a lot of efforts to preserve the integrity of structures
Yes.
by the government?
Yeah. As I said, they have got a full list of buildings which come in the heritage zone and which are declared as heritage houses. So their faces cannot be changed, not even the inside.
Okay. Moving on, as we all know, Himachal is going to vote in a few days. And as a historian, as a person who deals with tourism too, because you conduct Shimla Walks, which by the way, conducts walks across the city. like, what are the things that you think needs to be focused on by the future government? What are the things that you think are important when it comes to?
Well, first thing I would say that they have to maintain the uh, old traditions. Like Shimla is a walker's town. Shimla is a walker's city. Everybody walks in Shimla. You must have seen.
Yes.
Most of the roads are sealed roads. And recently, about 3 or perhaps 4 years ago, uh, one road they opened, unfortunately, for everyone. That used to be a restricted road. And it was not done looking at the increasing number of traffic, but it was done because a group of advocates insisted.
Hmm.
So
Okay. So it was civilian like, people who wanted this to happen.
some of them, yes.
So, like, these are the, as I was saying, like, what are the things that, like, as from the perspective of, like, a person who deals with tourism, what are the things that needs to be thought about or needs to be improved?
For tourism point of view, first of all, we need infrastructure, good roads, parking, toilets, facilities. These things are required. Government's job is not to sell package tours, and their job is not to, run hotels. Their job is to provide the facilities for the tourist. Parking in Shimla has always been a problem. Right from day one, let's say 70s when I was a kid, right from those days I have been hearing that parking in Shimla is a problem, and with increasing number of vehicles, this problem is also increasing day by day. Every road you see, it has been converted into parking. Roadside, on the side of the road, everywhere you will see n number of vehicles parked, and they are parked for days, for months. Perhaps people have bought them just to show their status symbol, and they are parked there. They are badly covered by dust, and they are never being used. So, government has to stop that. Why people are
How does government stop people buying cars? Can there be a cap? What do you suggest? What is your idea of solution?
well, government suggested very good rule that you can buy a car only if you have parking, if you have your own parking at home. So what people did, they got the vehicle registered at their native place in the village and brought the vehicle to the town.
Okay,
So,
that's actually quite innovative. Very
yeah,
jugaru, yeah.
Badi Jugadu. But recently, what very good thing that I noticed, uh, today only I went to Longwood side, and there I saw the place where used to be unauthorized parking, and government was trying hard to get rid of that, and people were not listening to it. What government has done, they converted it into a footpath.
Okay,
So
yeah.
footpath is slightly raised higher than the road, so no vehicle can be parked over there. So that is the best way. I mean, solution is always there. How many parkings government will make? We cannot blame government for everything. We also have our own duties towards the city. Why are we buying n number of cars? Why are we buying the number of cars that we don't need? There are 4 members in the family and there are 5 cars or 6 cars, and those cars are just parked outside. Car is the most important thing in your family or in your home, and you park it outside.
So moving on, like, what are the other things apart from, as you said, we are, like, more steps should be taken about preserving the look and making it a walker city. What are the other things? Like, do you think the focus is really Shimla centric? Are there other historical or more tourism specific places that needs to be developed, or hidden histories that needs to be talked about?
Well, my suggestion is very weird, and I am sure nobody is going to agree to that, especially the government. I have always suggested that you should move capital out of Shimla, take it somewhere else, okay,
Okay.
and
Why so?
convert Shimla into heritage capital,
So you're saying Shimla should not be the
political
political
capital,
capital,
yeah.
but the heritage capital.
Heritage capital,
And
because
how?
Shimla is a tourist city. People, of course, locals are also there. The population of Shimla is more than 200,000 people living here, 2 lakh people, 2 lakh people living here, more than 2 lakh. But with the arrival of tourists, the population keeps going almost, double, or sometimes during summertime more than double. So, and tourist comes here not only for today's tourists, nowadays, because the trends have changed. People are coming here not only for climate, they are coming here to see the history also. They are coming here to learn the history, and they are coming here to see the colonial past. So why don't you convert Shimla into a heritage capital? This entire heritage zone that you have declared, starting from Barnes Court, the governor's house, till the Viceregal Lodge, or it is called Indian Institute of Advanced Studies. This can be one of the longest museums in the world.
True.
Every house, every shop, every building has its own history. For example, this building, when I conduct a tour of this building, with me, it takes about half an hour to understand. Half an hour is the minimum time. After that, when people start asking questions, it goes on and on and on. So every building has its own history, every building has to be preserved, every building has to be told, and every building has to be displayed in a different way. So why don't you convert it into heritage capital? I think if you talk about the modern history in this part of India, Shimla is the most historical town. After that comes Delhi. Delhi has many other, historical facts. But if you talk about colonial history, Shimla is not very old town. Shimla is very young. It started coming up in 1822. That is exactly 200 years ago from now. But in 1864, it was declared as heritage town. As a capital town, summer capital of British India. So, in last somewhere around 160 years, this is the history we have, and this is the history to be shown to the tourist. Today, Shimla is on tourist map, world tourist map. We have people coming from almost every part of the world.
And that apart, when on Saturday, not tomorrow, on Saturday when you vote, what are the things that you will keep in mind, or anyone who is associated with the tourism industry or a historian will keep in mind while voting, according to you?
Well, I go for Nota.
Okay, but still, even then.
Yeah. Well, my request is that whichever government comes, from it as a tourism professional, I'm telling you, you have to improve the infrastructure.
But they keep saying, सड़कें देखिए कितना बदल गया है शिमला के हिमाचल का
No,
सड़कें
it is not badal gaya. You look at the condition of the roads.
Was it better earlier?
No,
or is it gone worse?
They are bumpy.
Okay.
They are parking. I have already told you.
Yeah.
Water scarcity. Water is the major scarcity here. Every summer we fall into water problem. Even recently, during the monsoon time, people in Shimla were not getting water. If locals are not getting water, how do you expect tourists to get? And when tourist comes, they waste water a lot. They are brushing their teeth, the tap is on. They are shaving, the tap is on. They have showers, they use bathtubs. So in these things, a lot of water is wasted.
Really?
And we are on hilltop. You see, we also understand as civilians that the government has to fight a lot every day to lift water. We are not in the valley, we are on hilltop, and every day we have to lift water. So that lifting process we have to increase, and we have to find the ways, and the ways are there around. There are quite number of rivers, rivulets, brooks, and springs, bawdis, catchment area. But only thing is, you need to, first of all, to treat the water. Treatment plants you have to install, and then to store the water from where you can distribute it properly. The water tank up there below the ridge is not sufficient, looking at the increasing number of population.
Okay, these are the things that you will keep in mind before voting. But as a resident of Shimla for so long, what other changes have you seen in the people or in the attitude of people towards elections, towards governments? Because people say that it's perceived that people from Himachal are very informed electorate, right? So do you agree? Do you not agree? What What is your opinion on that?
Well, I would say Janta is always confused everywhere. Because in Himachal, the system is always 5 years, 5 years, 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
It's almost, I think, nearly 40 years now. Let us see what happens now, this time. But it's very hard to, understand somebody's mind, who is talking about which party and to whom they are going to vote. So, uh, I can't answer.
No. What I'm trying to say is like, do you, when it comes to like, do you agree that people are more aware, more politically aware
Yes.
in Shimla?
Yes.
As in, why so? Has it been historically so? Like, are Himachalis more prone to understand or to talk about history? Like the Bengalis tend to be very politically aware. Is it true for Himachalis too?
With time, they have learned, and they are learning because most of the people in Himachal, they work for the government. And the government employees, looking at their own benefits, what benefits they are going to get, and others also, other locals also, because not only government is giving benefits not only to the employees, they are working a lot for the other people also, like people below the poverty line. A lot of things are given free of cost, food and bijli and electricity.
Doling out, huh?
Huh. So, looking at these things, yes, people have learned with time, and that's how they have grown. So, they decide after a lot of discussions with their friends and within their family, and within their community.
As a historian and tourism professional, what are the things that what are the five things or 3-4 things that you think are very exciting about Himachal and Shimla, and what are the projects that you're excited about that might happen in the next few years, if you want to share with us? Like, what are the projects that have happened in the last 5 years, 10 years?
What type of projects?
Historical projects or renovation projects, if you could mention a few that you really think are very exciting, and what are the future projects, tourism projects, renovation projects that you think are exciting?
Well, first of all, looking at the tourism point of view, Himachal has got very great culture. You talk about our temples, our food, our attire, our festivals and fairs. So these things should be highlighted for the tourist. People don't know about them, and when we tell them, they start asking question: is it true?
Yeah,
Does it really
because I
happen?
was looking for Himachali food places,
Yeah.
and I could find only one very matlab Himachali rasoi, but like there's very awareness about the culinary culture of Himachal, right? Like, I mean, at least
You see,
not for today.
lot of people. You also travel. I also travel, and lot of people are traveling a lot. And wherever we go, we like to eat food from that area. This is one problem in Himachal. You go to any other big cities, you don't get Himachali food commercially. At home, the people are cooking it and using it also. But if somebody wants to have it in the restaurant, in Shimla, we have one option, which is Himachali Rasoi that you mentioned. Other is in Himachal tourism's restaurants. But only few items, like maybe 3 or 4. Proper dham, what we call is dham, and every district has its own dham. Mandi has its own dham. Kangadi dham is different. Food from the upper areas is different. They have to be highlighted, and people love that food. Then you have to talk, speak about the fairs and festivals, as I mentioned. Lot of fairs are there and festivals are there, which are only at the village level. They have not been taken even to the district level. For example, I tell you one mela called Patharon ka Mela. It happens every.
You have seen videos of it.
You must have seen the videos. It's only recently these things are being highlighted through bloggers,
Social media.
Government is not doing anything. Himachal tourism ka ad, have you seen anywhere apart from print media? Himachal tourism has not taken itself on social media yet. Why? Himachal needs to be promoted in a very different way. There are not a number of villages, rather, I would say every village in Himachal is historic, is touristic, has its own stories. There is a lot to tell. So, social media is the best platform which should be used by the government. And if government cannot use it, they should hire people from outside, outsource people who are professionals, and I would suggest them not to spread the awareness about their hotels or about their buses or about their package tours. They should spread it overall and let the private companies work on it and let the tourists come and have better services.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Raj, for speaking with us. And we are signing off from this historic, beautiful location. Thank you for joining Indian Express. And when you come to Shimla, please do get in touch with the Shimla Walks because they conduct lovely tours of the city.
They can also go to our website, shimlawalks.com.
And and thank you for joining Indian Express today. Thank you.